Hello and welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining me in another of my little monologues. And before I start, I just want to thank everybody who has been supporting the channel. It's always very kind of you. And those also have been buying my book, Biggleswick, the town that wouldn't comply. Running out of books now, and we may have some events going on. I think we're negotiating one in East Sussex in March. I'll tell you more about that when it comes off and we've got a confirmed date. And if you want to buy the book and you don't want to have it posted to you or anything like that, and you want to have it signed in front of you, then that might be something that you can come along to. But there may be some other dates as well. But as I say, people have been so enthusiastic, which has been fantastic. I may be coming to the end of this print run and I'll have to do another one. Anyway, and I hope that those of you who have bought the book are enjoying it and you've got them on time and you're happy and all of that. Today, I want to talk about a different book, not my book. This was a gift that was given to me only yesterday by some friends who came round. And as you can see from the title, it is The Ultimate Vaccine Timeline. I nearly said fun-packed then, but it is quite fun really, depending on your approach to it. A fact-packed history of vaccines and their makers. And I can tell you, it's very comprehensive. We all know, don't we, that vaccines are fantastic. We all ought to be absolutely injected up to the hilt with lots of strange chemicals that we can't pronounce and don't know what they do. We know that vaccines are the thing that young children, as soon as they're born, within an hour of being born, you know, a needle stuck into them somewhere and pumped with those interesting chemicals that are there to sort of protect that baby from the chance in 1 in 10 million of catching something rare and exotic. I mean, it's very important. It's very important that we make sure that we act like pincushions and have these strange substances put in to us. And of course, we all remember the lovely time, don't we? That lovely time when we were unable to get out in 2020 on those terrible days when the sun was shining and all that vitamin D was likely to kill us if we stepped outside because there was some virulent disease going around. We all remember those days. And very soon after that, at the speed of science, amazingly, we were all offered and in many cases mandated something to put into our body, you know, just to make us feel a bit better so that we can go out or go abroad or do things again. We just put something chemically into our body. And of course, perfectly safe and perfectly effective, wasn't it? Depending on which side of the coin you are on. If you're trying to, say, wipe out a population, I imagine it was quite effective. But anyway, yes, so this book, let's go back to have a look at this book, comprehensive book, a timeline of all vaccines starting in, surprisingly, 507 AD, going right up to the present day. But I want to start with a few little things that we've pulled out here to talk to you about. So the principles of vaccination are in here. And these came around in 1929. And the principles of vaccination by these particular individuals, W.W.C. Topley and G.S. Wilson, the principles of bacteriology and immunity in New York, 1929, says the following. Vaccine should be harmless to the healthy child. So we wouldn't want to see any injuries or any deaths or any nasty complications, you know, to a healthy child, obviously. The disturbance caused by the vaccine should not be greater than that of the disease itself. So, you know, you get the thing and you shouldn't really see any nasty results that's worse than whatever it is that you might catch. It must be easy to administer. Well, I think they've managed to work that bit out, haven't they? Vaccination must provide herd as well as individual benefit. Now, that's interesting because herd immunity was something which was bandied around, I remember, at the beginning of the old 2020 and 2021, and then it became a very bad thing, herd immunity. No, we don't want herd immunity. Everyone's got to be individually sorted out on a global way. And finally, the vaccine conferred immunity should be sufficient, solid, to obviate need for frequent revaccinations. In other words, just the one jab, we should do it. You shouldn't need to go and get boosters. Why would you need to continually boost the thing if the thing has been made to the right specification. Just an interesting observation back in 1929 that, say, just under 100 years later, I'm not quite sure was observed during the recent debacle that we found ourselves in. Let's go back to things like smallpox, for example, because everybody quotes that, don't they? They say, well, we eradicated smallpox with vaccination. We got rid of it, just like we did with polio. But is that really true? Let's see what it says in this book. So we've got two quotes here. I'll just flash it up for you to see. So this is from Dr. William Farr, 1807 to 1883 he lived. And he said this: smallpox attained its maximum mortality after vaccination was introduced. You notice that? After vaccination was introduced. That's very interesting. I thought vaccines were supposed to be good for you. The mean annual mortality for 10,000 population from 1850 to 1869 was at a rate of 2.04. Whereas after compulsory vaccination, the death rate in 1871 was 10.24. So, I mean, a massive amount, 8 times as much death started to come out after they started using the smallpox vaccination. Bit interesting, isn't it? Probably this is not what the pharmaceutical companies want you to know about, I suppose. But it's worth, if you want to stick some strange chemicals into your body, you'd like to know, wouldn't you, what they're made up of and what the history is and how successful it is and whether you're likely to be harmed. Even if a government is mandating that you have it, you still want to be able to say, actually, this is my body and I'm going to take my chances, mate. Derek Baxby said in 1940 to 20, well, he was around in 1940 to 2017, and he said this, I think, in 1981. He said, contrary to popular belief, smallpox was not eradicated by mass vaccination. I'm sorry, I thought we got rid of. That's what everyone keeps telling me. No, we got rid of smallpox, didn't we? Vaccination would work wonders. Really. Though they tried initially, it proved difficult to implement in many countries and was abandoned in favour of surveillance containment, which I think is a much better thing. If you know people who've got something, then, yeah, look after them out of the way. Maybe we should have done that during the 2020, have just looked after those people who were vulnerable. Still, we learn the lessons, don't we? And let's see, because vaccines are supposed to be incredibly good for you, aren't they, in this? And it tells you all about them. There's lots of information about each vaccine. If you name any condition that you might need a vaccine for, or if you've heard of a vaccine or you're thinking about having a vaccine, you can look it up in here and see who makes it and how much profit they make and how many people have survived or died as a result of it. It's fascinating. But at the back here, interesting, we have a vaccine injury, a brief timeline. In 1951, I'm just reading these at random, the American Journal of Pediatrics reports the case of smallpox vaccine injury and subsequent death of a young black girl. And there is a picture in there, it's a gruesome picture, I don't want to show it. Her arm is, oh God, it looks awful, absolutely nasty. And so we've got this timeline that goes from 1721 to the current day of lots of different vaccine injuries. And that must be a worry if this super thing that's supposed to, do lots of things. Why is there so many of these injuries? Let's just see some at random. Here in 1887, English physician Charles Crichton publishes History of Cowpox and Vaccination Syphilis, highlighting the dangers of vaccines. But obviously, he must have been a crackpot, because vaccines are good, aren't they? In 1929, tragic deaths of over 70 babies after BCG vaccine. That's against tuberculosis in Lübeck, Germany. 70 babies, 70 lives just wiped away. It is rather frightening. What else have we got here? That 1948, the first WHO, the WHO, report indicates 15% of its pages are dedicated to post-vaccinal something I can't read, encephalus, while the issue is acknowledged as its downplayed as rare. Not quite sure what that means. Sorry about that. Should have read that in advance, really. But anyway, here we go. 1970s UK government reports that 1 in 30,000 children suffer neurological damage after DTP shots, whatever they are. You know, the history of these things is somewhat worrying. And I don't know about you, really. I mean, I didn't need this book to tell me that putting strange chemicals, which are of a dubious nature, of which I have no idea what they do individually, and then if you mix them together, like say an MMR, what will they do collectively, especially to young people, into your body, is not a good idea. I mean, I don't really need a book like this to tell me that, but there's a lot of people who do think they're good, and you might just wish to go, well, let's see how much profit some of these companies are making. And what are the fines? If you're interested in the fines that say Pfizer or Merck or any of these others that have been making their things, you can look them up and you can see how much money they've taken in a year, billions, and what percentage of the fine, as if the fine really is just like, it's 40 quid on the car. Oh, you've been a bit naughty, have this, well, we pay it and keep quiet, apparently. I don't know, maybe not. Anyway, it's a good book. It's by Shaz Khan, and it's from the Children's Health Defence. It's got a foreword by Pierre Corey, and I imagine it's available in all good bookshops or wherever. So if you're interested, I just thought, I haven't been paid to say this, but because it's about vaccines, and we all love our vaccines, don't we? I'm just going to go now and get my 53rd booster, just to try and get some sight back into the dodgy eye. Till next time, toodle pip.